All right. All right, Miss Stanley, I really enjoyed coming into your classroom and seeing the great discussions and learning your students were exemplifying about natural disasters, specifically Hurricane Katrina. I learned so much myself just from sitting in the short time that I did, and you had me hooked too. We're going to start today with you getting a chance to reflect and tell me about your lesson, and then I would love to share my feedback with you. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, how do you feel the lesson went?
Well, as it was kind of our jumping off point for this week's STEM activity, I think it was very powerful. The book was a true story that I led with, so I think it definitely hooked the kids in and really gave them perspective.
Absolutely. I would say powerful is the perfect word. I mean, it was, even for me, me learning it was a true story. I was blown away. So amazing text connection. Love it. Do you believe that it was successful? What you wanted to get out of it, do you believe that you did?
Yes, I feel like it opened up their mind and kind of activated that curiosity that they wanted to learn more, not just about what happened to the characters in our story, but how did this hurricane happen? What went wrong? Because once we moved into the next part, they had a lot more questions.
Awesome, that's amazing. Would you change anything about your lesson?
Part of the hook, I think the book is a fantastic hook, but I would almost love to show like actual pictures, not necessarily video because I don't think that's appropriate for this age, but showing pictures of like what it looked before, what New Orleans looked like pre-Katrina versus post, so they could kind of see the difference of the impact of the natural disaster.
And knowing that this was just the jump start, that's definitely something you could do further on. So what are your next steps? Like, where do you see this going? Where from this lesson, what do you think maybe you need to do?
Okay, so next what we are working on is they are being hurricane investigators. So they are researching, they're doing the research portion of their STEM assignment. So they're learning a lot of background knowledge on what is a hurricane, what are the categories, where is New Orleans, what are levees, what are dikes, all of that. So they're currently researching that independently with teacher support if needed. And then once they have all that background knowledge together, we're going to introduce some new vocabulary, and then I'm going to put them into teams so they can start building their levy and see if it holds.
Oh, that is so awesome. I want to come back and see that for
I
sure.
will make sure that
Awesome.
happens.
All right, thank you for sharing your reflections. I filled out an observation form, and these are just some of my notes and standouts that I wanted to share with you from what I saw.
Okay.
If I could give one word to describe you, my word would be inspiring. You inspire me, your students, and every single person on this campus. I love coming into your classroom because I can tell that your students feel very confident and safe to share their ideas not only with you, but their classmates while using the routines, procedures, and high expectations that you've put into place. A safe, organized, and welcoming environment is key to student success, and your classroom is proof of this best teaching practice. The positivity, praise, and lively reinforcements you give to students is a breath of fresh air to anyone who gets to experience it. And I can tell you that you make your students feel so special, seen, and appreciated by you. Mm-hmm. As you know, our campus and MISD's model of instruction focuses heavily on the best practices in teaching. Knowing your students mentally, emotionally, physically, and their data are some of the most important best practices we talk about. In the short time I was in your classroom, it was evident you knew each and every one of your students and supported their learning through differentiation, real-world connections. I loved when you told them about your experiences with the hurricanes. They were just like blown away that you knew. Mm-hmm. How you went out of your way to call on every single person in your class to encourage their active involvement in the lesson. Your students were hooked into the lesson before you even started it, and that speaks volumes about you as an educator and the ways in which you have instilled a love for learning into each and every one of them. The gasp while you were reading the book, the focus and eye contact during the entirety of the lesson, and student discourse conversations with amazing use of vocabulary made it extremely evident that you hold your students to the highest expectations and they are up to the challenge because of the relationships you have built with them. I am so glad I was able to see this introduction lesson in the science unit. From here, my goal for you, if you are interested, would be giving you a leadership role in helping me create professional learning communities for teaching effective science lessons. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, we can set up a time to talk about your role and where we can take this team together. Is that something that you maybe would be interested in?
Yes, that would be
Yay.
nice.
Please let me know if you're ever in need of any resources or support from me, and I will provide them to you. Thank you again for allowing me to see such a student-engaged lesson. Do you have any questions for me?
No, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.